All right, and welcome to Fast Break Breakfast, NBA podcast. My name is Keith Parrish, and I'm here once again with my buddy through the miracle of computer phone. I'm here with Dave DeFore. Dave, how are you doing?
Fantastic. I'm
good
really
to
good.
Hear it. Yeah, you look fantastic.
I honestly, man, I'm fired up.
Basketball related or unrelated?
It's so good. Well, I mean, life is good. Well, okay.
Well,
day-to-day life is good for me.
I mean, my Bitcoin rebounded.
I don't want to talk about retirement, but
we're podcasters. We don't retire.
Hey, I can breathe. I can breathe the air for now. Yeah. No.
Can I tell you, Dave, a couple of things? One, good job by us once again matching our T-shirts. This happens an unbelievable number of times without any coordination whatsoever.
We wear a lot of this gray.
We do wear a lot of heather gray.
Yeah.
Which, that's what we're doing right now if you see this on YouTube. But other times, it could be like a burgundy. It could be like a heather. Maybe it's just a lot of heather. Sometimes we're just wearing our black T-shirts. Sometimes we're both wearing our black. There's no coordination, but we're on this wavelength right now. Yeah. We are like Jason Kidd and Nico Harrison, just on the same exact wavelength. Also, Dave, when I said, "All right, welcome to Fastbreak Breakfast," I really panicked because it's been 3 weeks and I wasn't sure what the thing was. I've done like 10 Grits and Grinds episodes since the last Fast Break Breakfast episode. Apology there to everybody.
The podcast switch back and forth is always tough.
It is tough. It's like, wait, what's my sign off for this one? Why do I have different sign offs? Why do I have two separate podcasts? No one knows.
Right. When I came back, man, my first show back, I was like, I definitely hiccuped.
How do you think Zach Lowe's handling it? I have not heard the new Zach Lowe show.
I have no idea.
I mean, I am amazed.
It's a different thing.
I'm amazed that people still listen to this show.
Yeah.
Like 10 years. People have listened for 10 years. I listened to like 5 years of Zach Lowe, and at some point you're like, Zach Lowe has become a caricature of himself. And I know I have become a caricature of myself, I think. But
Danny Green retired, and it forced me to reinvent a lot of things.
You mean, you can't go to the Danny Green?
My Danny Green bit died, and
your new bit is just your Tobias Harris's, your Harrison Barnes, big Harrison Barnes day.
How about Harrison Barnes? My favorite part about I don't want to jump the gun.
Let's jump the gun. Let's do it. Let's do it.
My favorite part about the Harrison Barnes game winner was that he put Draymond on the free throw line.
Yeah.
Right before
he
that,
intentionally fouled for no reason. Draymond was 27 feet away from the basket with like 4 seconds left. And Harrison Barnes with a 2-point lead is like, you know what I want to do? I want to hit an awesome game winner. Here, I'm going to foul you. I'm going to foul you.
I think he's
go to the line.
Draymond's going to shoot bricks.
Get the rebound. So this is great. I don't know. So that happened after I fell asleep. I woke up this morning to the thrilling news as a Grizzlies fan that the Warriors had dropped the game. And then I go back and watch it because I want to see how, Kalina Azubuike responds on the broadcast. So I go back and watch the Warriors broadcast to see the end. And I can't believe how the final minutes go. Like Keldon Johnson's posting up Draymond, hooping all over him. There's a bunch of no calls as Draymond whacks him. But then Harrison Barnes fouls. To me, it looked like he fouled on purpose. To me, it looked like he didn't understand the situation. He's like, I have a foul to give with 3 seconds left. Let's make him inbound it again. But anyways, he doesn't. Draymond hits both free throws. Then, on the game winner, wasn't Jimmy Butler trying to foul? It looked like Jimmy Butler tried to foul on the catch because
they had one to give.
They had one to give, as far as I could tell, and it looked like he shoves Harrison Barnes when he catches the pass. And maybe the last 2-minute report, which comes out in like an hour, maybe it's going to say that was a missed call. It looked like Jimmy Butler was fouling on purpose, but then Harrison drills it.
I think they just know. I think also you got Draymond and you got Jimmy Butler, and they know they're going to get away with a lot in that circumstance. Like nobody's calling. Those refs, they don't want to call that.
The Spurs in that game, Dave, they were playing all their best players down the stretch in a game in April. Is that even allowed?
Chris Paul and Harrison Barnes revenge game?
Well, Chris Paul was cheering, but they had, Steph Castle out there making awesome passes to Keldon Johnson. They were, even though they were eliminated from the playoffs and the play-in, they were trying to win the game in April. This is stunning behavior.
Amazing.
So,
without even having Quentin Grimes out there.
Yeah. Anyways,
I don't know. Look, that was a fun game. Honestly, the games have just been so much fun and super competitive.
Some of the games.
Okay. We're not watching the bad games anymore.
You're not watching Justin Champagny rack up awesome stats, because I am.
We had Wizards and Sixers on the same day as Raptors Hornets.
Yeah.
Both of those games featured the wins were less than 50 for both teams combined in those games.
You're not watching. Wait, who did?
I did not watch those games.
Wait, who did the triple double on the Raptors last night? There was a triple. Yeah, Mogbo.
I can't. Mogbo.
Mogbo had a triple double. You were watching that? Jeff Dowden had a 30-piece on Wednesday.
Definitely not. No. I leave that to other people.
Dave. I'm having a hard time. I'm having a hard time balancing this Zach Edey breakout. They fired Taylor Jenkins. All of a sudden, Zach Edey's getting 20 boards every game, and I'm like, yeah, but Jordan Goodwin had the 23 rebound game for the Grizzlies last April. How is Zach Edey's 21 rebound game?
Right.
I know the Grizzlies have to win, but when you're playing the Hornets and they're on a 13-game losing streak, I'm having trouble balancing the stats. I'm also having trouble figuring out which games are real, which games are not real. Because obviously you have some games, you have these huge games, of course, the Luka Doncic return game to Dallas. You had the Lakers game against the Thunder. Lakers are playing games to win. And then some nights the teams aren't playing to win. And so it's hard to figure out, are the Thunder or Cavaliers struggling / just no one cares anymore? You did your thing. So I don't know.
I don't know. I see the Cavs are funny. I actually think the Cavs in March struggled. I think whatever happens now is different. I don't think it matters now, but I do think that there is a blueprint for beating them, if that makes sense.
I'm also looking at the Thunder and their performance against the other best teams, and you're like, it's kind of mediocre. But then does it even matter when you're 10 games ahead the whole season?
We know it turns into a different sport next week.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So when I'm thinking about what the Thunder did this regular season and the weaknesses that they have, I think a lot about what it's going to look like in the playoffs.
Yeah, let's get to that. Maybe we'll come back to that in a second. Let's hit our breakfasts, and then let's pile through maybe some bests and worsts. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Dave, did you eat oatmeal or just anything?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. Oatmeal, dates, had a banana, protein shake.
Hey, so I had I had a date in my breakfast. My breakfast, I grabbed some kind of weird, I don't know what would you call it? It's health, it's the label says bar. RX bar.
Oh, right.
And it has all the ingredients on it, and the ingredients are absurd. This is the smallest morsel. I think it was 0.9 ounces.
But dense.
Yeah, very dense. It took a solid 30 seconds to chew. But I have the ingredients because the ingredients were posted on the wrapper, Dave. I had half an egg white, 3 almonds, 1 cashew, and 1 date.
Pretty good. There's something to that, right? 4 almonds a day. If you had 4 almonds a day, you
don't forget the 1 cashew mixed in there for flavor.
And the cashew is pretty good. Yeah, that's for flavor. It's for flavor.
Yeah, that was
a walnut or something would be maybe a little bit more.
That was my breakfast.
Healthy.
Your breakfast, same as always, Dave. Thanks for mixing it up for us. After our breakfast, we move to our breakfast in bed apologies. This is my chance to make right what I might have gotten wrong in a previous episode. Frequently, the first time we talk about the NBA, but we broke that seal. Speaking of breaking the seal, Dave, my basement flooded last week. Not great.
Yeah.
I don't know the next time I will be recording with the shelves of 1980s childhood toys behind me.
Did the toys make it, or
they did?
Okay.
So we had set up our basement in a way where everything of value was off the ground, just in case groundwater ever got back in there. Our little neighborhood in Nashville was, in fact, hit pretty hard by some rainstorms last week, and other people flooded much worse than we did. We just got the annoying level of water, which is any water.
Right,
so we got the finished basement. I mean, it got a solid inch or so. So we got all the furniture out of there. And then after we had basically been shop vacuuming and clearing everything out and bailing water. Also, this is it felt very Sisyphean.
Yeah.
Where we have a drain because we have a full size shower.
Sure.
That's below the sewer level. We have a pump that raises up to the sewer level.
Right.
And I'm bailing water / shop vacuuming at the same time. I'm two-hand, double fisting. One hand shop vac, the other hand a 64
Gotta make
ounce.
a Home Depot run.
Yeah, and so I'm bailing it into the drain, and I hear the pump pushing into the sewer, but my whole thought the whole time is are the sewers overloaded? Is this all just coming? Is it just a closed circuit? It's like a loop where I'm just dumping it in and it's just coming back in. I don't know. But anyways, after we cleared up everything and we pulled up all the floor, then it was you know what? I have to disassemble the podcast area, which was just boxes and boxes of Keith's dumb toys. But that part took as long basically as any other cleanup of just taking all the shelves down and getting out. So anyways,
man, moving out west, I've been out of the basement game for a long time, but my little brother, back in Virginia, anytime they get a big rain, man,
the basement game is sweet.
It's awesome.
When the every other week tornado watch occurs. So that's what the basement's for. But we got some water. So I don't know what the situation is as far as the repairs. We got a lot of contractors talking to them. We're taking some bids. We're going to polish some concrete, maybe. I don't know. Ooh. Anyways, but all that being said, apologies for no episode in the last.
You could float some Pergo
weeks.
So easily.
Also, apology, Dave. Here's a real apology. Our last show that we did 3 weeks ago, we talked about the way that teams in a lot of sports kind of don't go for the win. They sort of delay losing a lot of times. And I thought of myself as being enlightened when it came to this sort of risk mitigation, where I'm no, don't go for the quick two. You need a 3-pointer here or the game's over. And we see these examples we talked about in football. A lot of times teams going for the extra point as opposed to going for 2 or going for a 4th down. No. You're just delaying losing. You need to go for the win. Well, I thought I understood this. I thought I was enlightened about the ways of analytics. I found out I was wrong. Because there was a play on Wednesday night, Dave, where I was appalled by what I saw. I'm talking about Tyler Hero in a game where he's down by 5. This game actually meant something a little bit. We had Heat and the exciting Bulls playing each other. It was a 5-point game. Tyler Hero gets a steal, has a breakaway layup with about 35 seconds left, and says no thank you. I don't want an uncontested, wide-open layup to make this a one-score game with 35 seconds left. He said, I'm going to pull up for a 3-pointer. He missed the 3-pointer. Bulls got the ball, make a 3-pointer, the other end ball game. And I'm how are you passing up a wide-open layup? Well, I was put in my place by actually being shown the math for this. Well, first of all, Dave, were you already enlightened? You were this is the right play. Let's pull. Yeah, you're
because if you're down 5 with 32 seconds to go, you needed a 32 seconds before, right? You need the 3 because it's actually it's a 2.5 possession game. It's not a 2 possession game.
Yeah. So this is the kind of thing where I feel even when you hear it, a person out there might still disagree, and that's fine. I'm not trying to convince you because, again, my initial reaction was, I don't care. Just go get the layup. Then maybe you force a turnover. But here I'm going to lay out the actual math that helped me to try to figure out or to understand or actually come around on the fact that, you know what, Tyler Hero was right. I don't know if Tyler Hero was thinking this. Tyler Hero might just have been, I'm going to shoot a 3 just for fun. But the argument for why he's right, and these are stats provided by Mike Bowie. I think it's how, I'm not sure I say his last name. The guy who does the InPredict site.
Yep.
But here are win probability numbers for a team trailing with 37 seconds left. If you're down by 5 points, you have a 0.7% chance of winning. So less than 1 in 100. If you're down by 3, hey, you got a 5% chance. If you're down by 2, you have an 11% chance. So what the math is, if you assume the layup is just guaranteed, 100% you get 2 points. Tyler Hero turned down the opportunity to have a 5% chance at a win, to take a risk at having an 11% chance of the win. And the math says for this to be the correct call, you have to make that three-pointer 41% of the time. Tyler Hero is a 38% three-point shooter in his career and was also uncontested and wide open. Also, they could have gotten the offensive rebound on the missed three-pointer, meaning the math says this was a slam dunk decision for Tyler Hero because, again...
Well, also 2 for 1. So not just the rebound, but 2 for 1. 37 seconds, right? Like you guarantee that you're going to get a final possession where you have time to run a play. Yeah, that was a no-brainer, Keith.
So just looking back on last episode where I decried the cowardly coaches going for quick twos and just delaying losing, we had a real-world example of, you know what? Tyler Hero's playing to win the game. If he makes the shot, that is their best chance. And my initial reaction was just being appalled at how Steph Curry had ruined basketball. Like pulling up for threes, but it was the right play.
I got benched in high school for pulling up for 3 on a fast break.
Well, I mean,
it was the 90s though. So
now, we're a
little bit more enlightened now.
Game and score situation, Dave.
Oh, it was first quarter.
Yeah, so that's the wrong play. The math says that's the wrong play. That's the wrong play. I
was on a heater. I had 13 points in the first 6 minutes. I was like, oh man, I'm wide open. I got to take this one.
Again, if we follow the math, every pickup basketball game will be ruined forever.
Yeah.
If everyone,
we don't want that.
Yeah, no one wants that. Anyways, that's my apology. Let's take a break and then we'll come back with a steak and eggs best thing. I'm going to say the best thing. You can say what you saw too, Dave, in the last 1, 2, 3 weeks. We'll do that right after this short break. All right, Dave, steak and egg best thing. You said the games have been good. What's the best thing you saw in the last however long amount of time you want to do?
Okay, I mean, this is it's going to sound the opposite. How about the Russell Westbrook meltdown against Minnesota?
I mean, did it not lead to Mike Malone being fired?
What an epic, just awful 13 seconds.
Everything. So I agree with you, but I need to check the InPredict math to find out. So this is the game, if you remember. I think most people remember.
Yeah.
He had the breakaway layup where they were up by 1, and it would have put them up by 3.
Yep.
I think the math says maybe try to dribble out a little bit more clock as opposed to even taking the layup in the first place. But he misses the open layup.
Right. By the way, that game was on April Fool's Day. Just. Yeah, I was like, is that April 1st? Yeah.
He's doing a bit. Yeah, I appreciate that.
It was definitely a bit. I say this. I think the dunk to put you up 3, what you're opening up for there is them pulling, because it was a fast break, right? So they can pull the ball out and get running and have time to get a 3 to tie.
Yep.
I actually think you got to dribble it out and hopefully get it to your best free throw shooter, because you want to slow that process down, you know, and obviously the overcorrection, like this is one of my least favorite things as a coach is if you double down on a mistake. Like mistakes happen, right? Everybody makes mistakes constantly, especially playing a sport, because you're so read and react. But if you do something like you miss a layup and then you turn around and you foul, right? That to me it's just egregious. But to do it in that instance, I mean, like, he has to know better, but it was like watching. I'm not going to be a guy who's like, oh, I knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
But it felt like as soon as he was going for that layup, I was like, oh no, he's going to miss.
Yeah. That's weird. No, I mean, I wouldn't have expected him to miss that.
I don't know why. I just felt
layup.
it.
But then the foul at the end, I mean, I will give, here's the only excuse I'll give Russell Westbrook. if that play occurred like 15 years ago, that's not a foul. I
don't think it should have been a foul.
If that play occurred in a pickup basketball game, that's not a foul.
Yeah.
If that play occurred in the NCAA tournament, that's not a foul. Oh, by the way, do we need to talk at all about NCAA tournament? What's your Cooper Flag situation? I watched some basketball games, some college basketball games. I lived in ignorance of what the rules were as far as what could be. All I know is if we're watching this game, they're going to review everything in the final few seconds. Much like there was a game-ending foul call in this Russell Westbrook play, there was a really big foul call on Cooper Flag in that Final Four loss. Seemed a bit over judicious.
I turned the Duke Houston game off with 2 minutes to go, with Duke up 64-55. I was like, oh, that's a wrap.
Your all-seeing, all-knowing powers that helped you for Russell Westbrook's missed layup did not help you in that game.
They did not help me because how do you blow that in college, right? Like, it's not like you're dealing with. These are not lights out shooters. These are not people who. I mean, sometimes these guys don't look like they can really play basketball.
Well, then did you watch the championship game at all? Where Houston and Florida, where I love that it was like a rugby match. I mean, I love how violent Houston was, and I wanted Houston to win badly. Just randomly, I decided that was the team I was cheering for in these Final Fours, and watching them struggle to play basketball in the final 10 minutes of the game, where it's like they had no plan for anything, and like they were going 1-on-3 every single time. It was hard to
not
watch.
Get a shot off.
It's a tough way to go out.
Pretty awful. But they were down 2. The thing is, I didn't understand. You're down 2 and you kept hunting a 3. And to me, I don't know why you're not running a play to get yourself into the basket, or you're
every
doing
time they ran
early
a play,
3.
There were 2 help defenders, and they had no. They're like, oh, it's 1-on-3. What am I supposed to pass?
Either that, or you got to run an action for an early 3. Hope you get the rebound. I mean, it was just I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of good coaches in college, and I mean, this is you lose sometimes, but that was awful.
Here's my steak and eggs best thing, unrelated to college basketball. My favorite thing I saw, the funniest thing I saw, was Ja Morant throwing a grenade into the stands.
Oh my God!
In the Charlotte Hornets game. This was easily the funniest thing Ja Morant's ever done. Like, Ja Morant, not known for his humor, at least to me. Maybe he's hysterical in real life, and I never see it. I think you could fairly call him moody at times or temperamental, and he, frankly, hasn't been having that much fun, it seems like, playing basketball for years now. And then, of course, he got in trouble. He only got in trouble because Draymond Green complained about his gun celebration that he'd been doing all year, and even calling it a gun celebration. As someone like myself who's very anti-gun, the three-point celebrations of the NBA do not bother me. Haven't bothered me.
A finger gun has never hurt anybody.
A finger gun, I mean, frankly, I'm not going to be ignorant and say you can't do a finger gun menacingly. But what these NBA players are doing, it's cartoonish fun.
Right.
Anyways, the league said, hey, you got to stop doing it. He did it again in the game against the Heat where he got a game winner. He got fined for it. And we're like, oh, Ja Morant, it's immature. He's gotta not do these celebrations.
They start talking about fatherhood on ESPN.
Yeah. So his employer told you not to. So wherever you come down on that, I don't care. That's fine. For him to then mimic throwing a grenade in his next game was the funniest thing I've seen on a basketball court in a very long time. The fact that he made it so cartoonish and absurd and said, look, this is not real. He pulled the pin out with his teeth. He then covered his ears with his hands. It was so funny. And again,
I spotted it with the binoculars. It was so good.
I've never thought of Ja Morant as being like laugh out loud funny, and it killed me. For me, that's the playful joy I want from my Ja Morant.
Yes.
And it seemed, as far as we know, the NBA hasn't done anything.
I'll tell you right now, if Nike, get on the ad campaign.
Oh,
let's do it. Honestly, that's the sort of stuff that could flip the public opinion on Ja. Which
was so funny.
You know what I mean? Because it's so funny and it's also self-aware, right? Like it is extremely self-aware.
Yeah.
But biting at the NBA, like, hey, this is all supposed to be fun and silly. What are we doing here?
Speaking of self-aware, was it self-aware of the Mavericks to do the thank you Luka t-shirts for the return game for Luka Doncic?
Gosh, man, there's been so much. Look, the tribute video, these guys like Luka, I think you gotta do that like I don't know, maybe do it in the middle of the game.
I mean,
doing it before the game, I just feel like it was like charging up a bull, right? Like you're waving a red flag and like watching this guy cry. Do you know the scariest person in the world is someone like you're about to fight and then they cry or something. You know what I mean? Like,
okay.
So why are you doing this to this guy who's already a killer?
Yeah. Just a bizarre situation. I'll go with, once again, thoughts and prayers to all Mavericks fans. I can't imagine what that franchise is doing. We've talked about it a ton. Everyone's talked about it a ton. It remains inexplicable. It was inexplicable the moment it happened. Watching him score 45 points.
Has anyone ever dealt with this level of outside pressure to lose their job? There are presidents, who have done things that you don't hear this much. It was. I don't know. We're getting to the uncomfortable stage of the fire.
I think the Supreme Court should rule that NBA team GMs and presidents can't be held accountable for their actions that they do while NBA
immunity
GMs. Yeah, the immunity.
Yeah,
it seems obvious that they should have, like, there's no way you can stick with this guy, but I don't know. Let's move on. Actually, I want to go to Michael Malone. You talked about Russell Westbrook and his in-game bungles. Josh Kroenke has been out and about explaining his decision. He also named himself acting like he's replaced Calvin Booth. I wish Kroenke just named himself coach. This is what we need the billionaire fail sons to do. Like our friend Kelly Dwyer wrote a great piece over on his Substack just criticizing Kroenke and the ridiculous nature of the Nuggets and how they have been cheap while having Nikola Jokic, and now have fired Mike Malone with 3 games to go. They may be able to be that boost they need, but a shocking bit of business. But don't worry, Kroenke's in charge. Well, I mean, is there any way it doesn't matter? Like, maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe Jokic is player coach, and it doesn't matter if Mike Malone is there.
I mean, I think you need somebody pushing buttons, especially in the playoffs. David Adelman seems to be a pretty good coach. He's like on a lot of the he's the next guy to get a chance on a young team kind of coach. I just, this sort of upheaval at this point in the season tells me that the locker room isn't really together either. And I just don't know how you win, especially in a playoff series. You know, it's one thing when they're traveling a lot right now, but you get into a playoff series and now, you're traveling a lot, but it's not the same. There's a lot of downtime. And if you don't have any kind of camaraderie, the chemistry on the court, like we see it some nights and we don't see it the others, right? Well, I mean, that's the thing that's killed them, is I think they're just not connected.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Josh Kroenke said. They're not playing with a lot of joy out there. How about I fire the coach and the GM, and maybe you guys can play a little bit more intensely. You guys go have fun out there. I just fired these guys. Go have fun.
It's like, people always respond to the threat of punishment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In a positive way. I'll just say that. The truth is, like, this is kind of it for this team. The Bucks ran into a similar problem, right? Mm-hmm. Hopefully when Denver makes a trade for an all-star, it's not someone who's over the hill, this summer, because that's the move.
I still think the Nuggets, before this recent slump that has all occurred without Jamal Murray.
Right.
They were, I think, the most common pick for who would make the conference finals. I think everyone's like the Thunder, and then the team I trust probably second most. I think the majority opinion was that it was the Nuggets.
I have kind of a hot take. Well, it's not even, maybe it's not a hot take. I have a thought.
Yeah.
Okay. If Jamal Murray comes back and he's healthy.
Yeah.
And now Jalen Pickett really works.
Yeah,
with Jokic,
all right.
Right. This gives you the opportunity to juice your team a little bit in a way that it would not if you had Michael Malone. Because like last night, Russ played 17 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to get down into single digits when we get to the playoffs, and that would not happen if Michael Malone was there.
It's a good point.
In some ways, they have, I think, just it's a little bit of addition by subtraction, but it all hinges on Jamal Murray's got to be healthy. Michael Porter Jr.'s got to wake up, and then if Pickett can give him stuff off the bench, that's a huge boost for them. A guy who can play two ways and can shoot. They've been missing that. So, I kind of, the thing is, I actually understand this battle of vision between the front office and Michael Malone. I get it. But the front office, I think, but
they fired the front office.
Given that you're cheap, right? Yeah. Saying, hey, we need these guys to be ready in the playoffs is to me a reasonable ask of a front office. Yeah. But, I don't know.
Dave, we did our steak and eggs best things. What's your cream of wheat worst thing? You got a worst thing?
I mean, the fire Nico chants are getting uncomfortable.
No,
it's just I don't like it. Oh, I don't like it.
Love it.
I have this.
It is. Listen.
It's not. What do you want them to do? It's not embarrassment, but there's something.
Do you want them to riot?
No.
They have to have some outlet.
No, I know.
You got to have some outlet. I think fire Nico chants are your best case scenario for the Mountains.
Do you think we've hit peak fire Nico? Like now that he's come back, he hit the 45.
No.
Do you think that we're going to get?
It's going to happen at every Dallas Sporting. It's going to happen at Cowboys games. Anytime you're bored, someone's going to chant it.
You think he's going to make it through the summer?
I don't know. What are they doing?
Kevin Durant.
I'm not sure what my worst thing is. It might be the Phoenix Suns. It might be that I abandoned.
Which part?
It might be that I abandoned my corner, calling Devin Booker just an overall losing player. Like I think if I had held that firm, even through a 64-win season, even through them making the finals, people would be like, "Hey, you're unreasonable, man." He's clearly
Devin Booker's Olympics.
He's clearly the best shooting guard in the NBA. You're nuts. If I held firm, I could be doing victory laps right now, but I can't. Dave, they've lost 8 straight games by double digits. Do you know how rare that is? This is a team fighting for its life. This is a team trying to make the play-in, and in the midst of fighting for their season, they lost 8 straight games by double digits. Only the Wizards have matched that this year.
How did Mike Budenholzer not get fired?
You can't. You got to quit firing people at some point.
Yeah.
I would love it if you weren't. I mean, it's probably a good thing. It's like it's a competitive move to allow owners to fire your coach as much as you want, because you're like, hey man, if you want to pay the bill, knock yourself out. Right. But also, part of me wants to be like, how like in some fantasy basketball leagues, like you make 3 waiver moves a week or something. It'd be funny if you weren't allowed to fire. Like you could only fire your coach like 3 times in a 5-year span or something. Like you just. But I mean, are they going to fire him? Well, he was horrible.
The thing is, what you've got to think about now, if you're Phoenix, and now Memphis has to think about this. The Spurs and the Nuggets are going to be looking for coaches.
Oh yeah,
you are way down the totem pole. Like respectfully, and I would say Memphis. I would rather go there than Phoenix, especially given the track record of length of time that the coaches have been there. Although Phoenix more likely to overpay somebody who you've heard of before. Right?
What's Scott Brooks up to? Scotty Brooks?
Is he not with the Lakers?
He's an assistant somewhere,
right? With the Lakers. I keep saying the Nuggets should put a call into Nate McMillan.
I saw someone on social media say the Kings need to fire Doug Christie so they can hire Mike Brown, then fire Mike Brown again. No, apparently there's going to be a big coaching carousel this offseason.
Yeah.
But like the Suns, I can't get over. Yes, Kevin Durant has not played the last 5 games or whatever. He's not eligible for your All-NBA teams, joining the list of other players who didn't hit the 65-game mark. I can't get over the Suns, who are playing. They're all they were playing for was to try to make the play-in because they have no draft pick. They're out of that. They're out of everything. Nightmare situation. But yeah, maybe Ishbia will turn around. But I can't get over losing so significantly when you have Again, he tricked me. Devin Booker tricked me into thinking, oh, he's actually amazing. He's one of the best players in the
NBA. We spent so much time.
Tyus Jones, least improved player. Well, we got Paul George.
Biggest drop off for
Tyus Jones, DeAndre Ayton. He's not even a player anymore.
I feel like Paul George gets okay, well, he's old. This is kind of what we expected. Tyus Jones, it feels like he might lose the internet, right? Like he was the big pickup, everybody's favorite signing. Oh, this completes the puzzle. And now, I mean, it's like Monte Morris.
Yeah, I mean, Monte Morris is there and had a bad year also. Speaking of DeAndre Ayton and the Blazers picked up a huge loss, an important loss. Somehow they found a way to lose against the Jazz, who won that game in overtime. The Jazz now tied with the Wizards.
Bryce Sensabaugh showing everybody what's up.
Sensabaugh can hoop.
He can shoot, man. That guy can score. Period. If he's only going to play in the G League, he could lead the G League in scoring.
I was watching Sensabaugh and also Doug McDermott bury 3-pointers, and I'm like, why are these guys on a good team? No, the Trailblazers. I feel like we need to acknowledge in our last episode of the regular season, Jeremy Grant has not played a game in April. He did it again. He has not played a game in April since 2021. So that's 4 straight seasons of not playing in April. In 2021, he only played in April because it wasn't the last month of the season that year. Because this was post-COVID.
Right.
The season ended in May. He missed 8 of 9 games in May. This guy, since he was on the Nuggets, on the Nuggets in the bubble, lost to the Lakers in the playoffs. Since then, that man, he's the guy leaving work on Friday at 2 p.m. And he's done it. He's successfully not played a game in April for basically 5 years. He's missed the last month of the season, 5 straight seasons. Incredible work.
Perfect.
Proud of that guy.
Any questions?
Let's answer a listener submitted question, Dave. This is the croissant questioner. Caleb McNeese asks, this is a good one, Dave. This is a geopolitical question. In the NBA, should there be tariffs on labor for foreign players, and should they count against the salary cap?
Tariffs are for goods. So,
in America, first position for NBA players?
I would say, what you have, like in Europe, you're only allowed to have 2 Americans.
Yeah.
This is where you run into situations like Shane Larkin becoming a naturalized Turkish citizen, and he plays on not only on the national team, but he also doesn't take up one of the foreign player spots, in the Turkish league there. So they kind of game the system that way, where they, are Europe first, or at least non-American first. A lot of leagues have rules on that, because if you think about it, we produce so many basketball players, we would just come and dominate all the leagues.
That's why Yuta Watanabe was such a big signing.
Yeah.
Go back to Japan.
And I think when you look at, what is it, a quarter of the league now?
Yeah.
Is foreign born.
Every team can only have 1 Slovenian.
Now that would actually distribute the talent a little bit.
That Nico Harrison is like, listen, I have to free up my Slovenian spot.
What if you did something that was more like pro wrestling regional territories, and you say, okay, so the Pacific teams, you guys, you can only get players
this is how the league
from
used to
the
be.
Asia Pacific, okay?
This is the territorial rights of the early NBA and ABA,
Yeah, and so then you could wind up, maybe like Chicago gets special rights to the Balkans. Right. I honestly, I think the coolest thing that could possibly happen, and I would hate this for Denver, but what if like Jokic and Luka just decide we're going to team up in Chicago because it's the most populous.
I heard they were teaming up on the Lakers. You handled that question pretty well. Let's do one more. Another controversial question.
What if it cost more to have a foreign-born player?
Because you got to pay them tariffs.
Right. Yeah, but I'm saying, what if this, you had to account for currency valuations for them, and you had to pay them. So these guys would get paid maybe in euros or, pounds.
The dollar's tanking, Dave. I don't know.
I know. That's what I'm getting at, right? So then all of a sudden, having Nikola Jokic not the best, for your
Magnus, the question master, wants to know: should the Mavs be relocated to Seattle?
No.
Yeah, no.
Do we?
I mean,
where are we on this conspiracy?
I don't
know. Move the Mavs to Vegas, Keith.
I don't know. I feel like they should somehow move Nico Harrison and the Dumonts to Seattle. The Mavericks fans should get some kind of separation from these people who have stabbed them in the back and ruined their franchise.
Well, this goes back to the Green Bay Packers model, where the community owns the team.
Yeah. That's how
instead of selling it as an asset. This is the thing where, and to praise the Lakers just a little bit, it's their business, right? Yeah. The family owns that team and they run that as their business. And it shows with the way that they treat their players and treat the team. And, you would never, ever have to worry about the Lakers doing something like this, ever.
Yeah, you're right. Thanks for the questions, everybody. If you want your question to be answered on air, you got to be a Patreon supporter. Do that at patreon.com/fastbreak breakfast. Also, congratulations to our bracket winners for the men's and women's tournament. Bobby Payton won the men's bracket.
You got some win percentages on these?
Bobby Payton won the men's bracket for the second straight year. We're talking about, there's 50-something people in this bracket.
Is he a ringer?
In this pool. I don't know. Is he cheating? I don't know. Do you
have a sports almanac?
It could be that situation. Also, where is this?
Going back in time to just cheat at my NCAA bracket for a podcast. So devious, no one would ever suspect.
Also, congrats to Mike Gibbons for winning the women's bracket. So I'll be reaching out to you guys. I'm going to send you a prize pack with a very fancy T-shirt that was saved from floodwaters. It was sealed in an airtight container, lifted out of there before the water hit.
Do you have any takes on Gibbons?
No, I don't. Anyways, thanks everybody. Patreon.com/fastbreak breakfast. All right, Dave, it's now time for the awards segment of the program, the International Stackhouse of Pancakes Award, given each week to the worst performance in a box score. We haven't given out an award in 3 weeks. I was terrified that there'd just be way too many names to pick through, too many nominees to figure out. But luckily, we have 3, I feel like, clear guys who separated themselves over the last 3 weeks. We do have a lot of honorable mentions. Here are some honorable mentions. Jordan Poole, Keldon Johnson, Precious Achua, Ricky Council IV, and Spencer Dinwiddie all went 1 for 11. Malik Monk, Fred VanVleet, Nick Smith Jr. all had 2 for 14 games. And then Miles Bridges gave us a 4 for 20. And Shea had a 7 for 29. Those are just honorable mentions. Our 3 nominees over the last 3 weeks. I mean, I literally thought, Dave, we might have to do 3 awards. There'd be so many. No, this is good. We got this. 1 guy to win it for the last 3 weeks. Our nominees, as they occurred chronologically. Desmond Bane, in a loss to the Thunder, was 1 for 12. Had 3 points, 6 assists, 2 rebounds, 1 steal, 3 turnovers, 3 personal fouls. Was a -30, plus minus in that one. Donovan Mitchell, in a loss to the Suns. That guy lost to the Suns. You know how hard that is? Donovan Mitchell, in a loss to the Suns, was 2 for 18. 7 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 0 turnovers, 0 personal fouls, perhaps try. And then Alex Sarr, in a loss to the Heat, was 3 for 17. These are Summer League throwback numbers from Alex Sarr. 3 for 17, 8 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks, 2 turnovers, 5 personal fouls. So, Dave, we're picking between Desmond Bane, 1 for 12, 3.6 assists. Donovan Mitchell, 2 for 18, 7 points, 3 assists. Alex Sarr, 3 for 17, 8 points, 2 blocks.
Donovan Mitchell.
Gotta be Donovan Mitchell.
Right,
no
what are we
fouls?
doing? Yeah.
In a competitive basketball game?
I keep throwing Donovan Mitchell under the bus when I'm talking about how Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the MVP.
Ooh,
yeah, you'll love it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Best player on the best team is a great argument.
Yeah.
And it's not like Shai is putting up Donovan Mitchell numbers, right? Like Shai's putting up MVP numbers and he's on the best team.
Yes.
If somebody was trying to make a case for Donovan Mitchell, I'd be like, no, absolutely not. Look,
he's putting up he's putting up Desmond Bane numbers on maybe the best team,
second best,
by
record.
Congratulations to Donovan Mitchell winning this week's International Stackhouse of Pancakes Award. Alex Sarr, he's kind of cool. I like him.
Alex Sarr. Look, if they get Cooper Flag, the Wizards are instantly going to have some stuff happening. Because people have a little bit forgotten that Bilal Coulibaly is so good, especially defensively. I think Sarr defensively shows a lot of
What does Coulibaly project to you? New topic, new show, Dave. What is Coulibaly like? What are we talking? What's the ceiling here?
Paul George?
You think 2025 Paul George?
No. I mean, and it's different, right? Because he's a little bit more herky-jerky. Paul George was so smooth. This is why all these young guys really like Paul George, because like aesthetically, it's a little bit of the Kobe, or not the Kobe, but the Kyrie thing. It's just beautiful to watch Paul George when he's doing stuff.
Second Wizards question.
Yeah.
This is Wizards Corner. Would you trade Bub Carrington for Denny Avdia?
Yes.
Because Denny Avdia,
right?
He's putting up Donovan Mitchell numbers / Shea. Denny Avdia's March and April run, Giddy-esque with the unbelievable stats of the last month. And of course,
he's had a great year.
I mean, Joe Cronin got an extension. People were calling for Joe Cronin's head, it felt like, throughout the Damian Lillard thing. Maybe, was that just Heat fans?
It was Miami Heat fans. Okay. That was, honestly, they were doing fire Cronin.
Yeah.
Like the fire Nico thing.
Yeah. It's okay. Like it's okay if a different team does it for your GM.
They want
Does Joe Cronin have a police escort when he walks into the Rose Garden? I don't think so.
Miami Heat media wanted an NBA investigation into why he wouldn't trade Damian Lillard to the Heat.
I still want an investigation into why the league didn't stop the Luka trade. Do they have no mechanisms for being like, you're destroying your franchise. You're devaluing our franchise. The bylaws say we don't allow you to do that. I mean, I'm just throwing stuff out. I was blown away. Dave, I think we did it. I think it's all we have time for. Alex Sarr, does he go number 1 in a redraft? Still Reese's Shea?
I don't
Both
know.
of those guys are like good.
Honestly, I mean, Stephen Castle would be up there, right?
I guess. I think so. I feel like this is interesting. I don't know. This is like a ringer episode now. At the start of last year's draft, obviously I was keeping track of it because the Grizzlies had a top 10 pick, and I'm listening to all this stuff, and it's just like project, risky, project. That guy's risky. That guy's risky. Safest pick might be Reed Shepherd, might be Rob Dillingham, and now it's like, are Dillingham and Shepherd still projects? But meanwhile, the projects in Sarr and Reese Shea, they look great. They're like, I would absolutely, after seeing them play for a year, absolutely.
The knock on
Tijan Salon, not so much. What's the knock?
Well, the knock on these guys coming in was, all right, there's no like number 1 or whatever. Okay, well, it's a league that there's 5 guys on the court. I think like Reese Shea, he may not have the most juice like off the dribble, but man, he finishes plays well. I think he's a good connector. He's obviously long and he fits in. I mean, when Jalen Johnson's there next year, I actually think, the Hawks were so fun until, the injury.
They are.
Happened.
I was happy they won the lottery just because they strove. They, with their last ounce of courage, they dreamed the impossible dream, and they're like, well, we're going to keep trying to win. And then they jumped up in the lottery. I hope that's what happens this year. I hope the Trailblazers win Cooper Flag. Like, I want someone who played it out to win the lottery. But with Dyson Daniels, who, is setting steal records that we haven't seen before because we didn't used to keep track of steals, but like the numbers he's putting up, and then when you get Jalen Johnson back, and then Trey plus Reese Shea, they got a really fun team. Here's how I want to end the show, Dave. A reverse kudos to me. A negative. I got this wrong. I got two small things. One, I felt like I was trying to do a zag against the normal podcaster takes this offseason about Najee Marshall. I'm like, everyone, it just feels like I was supposed to say that guy's really good, even though he wasn't playing that much for the Pelicans. And everyone's like, oh, it was a great signing. You know what Nico Harrison hit out of the park? Signing Najee Marshall. And I'm like, here's my podcast. I'm going to zag against all my rest of my podcasters. Are we sure he's good?
Right.
He's been like really good. And I'm like, man, he'd be great on why didn't all these teams sign him? It seemed obvious. Like, why didn't you sign him for $9 million? So I feel bad there.
Like, how would he work on the wing in Memphis?
Be amazing.
For $9 million a year.
Yeah, amazing. And now we don't have Jalen Wells because he was murdered by KJ Simpson guy. Horrible, dirty play. Anyways, I feel bad about that. Also, I was preparing another podcaster take about Luka's ejection, where Luka got ejected because he was trash talking a fan. I was ready to push back, defend my referee brother, and be like, I don't believe him. Luka yells at the refs all the time. I don't believe this. Oh, it's the guy behind you. It's the guy behind you. I don't believe you, Luka. That's where I was prepping that take, and then the league rescinds the technical like immediately.
Well, the guy we got a quote from the guy in the stands about playing the game within the game. Apparently, he's good buddies with Andrew Schlecht. So
it was JT Orr messed up, the NBA referee. Should not have ejected Luka in a very close game.
Shouldn't have ejected Luka anyway.
When we get your
regardless of what you think,
when we have Dave DeFore's Combat Basketball League sponsored by Bill Lane Beer, where there's no ejections.
Okay, no, there would be ejections. I'm not into basketball. Is not a contact sport; it's a physical sport, right? Yeah. So contact is fine. I just think, man, these refs. There's a point where just put your earmuffs on.
I got you. Anyways, thanks everybody for hanging out with us. Dave, pleasure as always. If you want more from us, come join the Slack channel over at patreon.com/Fastbreak Breakfast. Anyways, you guys are the best. Thanks for listening. And remember, breakfast is the most important thing.
Yeah, never apologize for being G&G. Fastbreak Break, man. You understand?